Alright, we are live. Today I'll be making a video on how to expand like a beast. There's been some changes to the map, some changes to the units, and joining me we also have Kenji in the background. So if he's got any questions that I can't think of anything, maybe he'll ask. First thing I like to do, and this is geared towards 1v1, but it could, it applies to free for all as well. I personally like to put the map on dark so I could see everything real easy. You can't probably see it as good on the video, so we'll just leave it unclicked. Uh, so before I do anything, I like to look at the map real quick and see how I want to expand. You want to focus on expansion spots that you can see. So you look at Jordan, for example, you can't really see what's going on, right? So, but what you can see is you can see Azerbaijan, you can see Moscow, and then here's a little trick. You just kind of move your rifleman, and sometimes you're able to see the base. You can't see Novaya. You can't see Latvia, but it's okay. It's a good expansion spot. And there's also Scotland. So normally what you want to do is you want to maximize your income. But sometimes it's better to get guaranteed income versus a known income. And what I mean by that is I could go Lithuania, move my guy here, and if I was to go Novaya, okay, Novaya is free, right? Well, you don't always know whether they're free or not. So you always want to go for the ones that are guaranteed, which is sometimes better than going for the ones you don't know about. So if I was playing this game, I probably would have gone Azerbaijan. I would have gone Moscow. I probably would have gone Lithuania and then Novaya, because that gives me a guaranteed 12 income. Turn 2, I would have hit over here and see that there's a rifleman that's empty. So there's a lot of different ways you could expand. You could focus on 3 countries or 2 countries. You just have to kind of see what spots are available. The changes in this map is that, we can't say it here. Oh, here we go. Marines are now, they have more range than they used to. Before, the Marines there was only a few spots, but a lot of times they would get hit. So now, because they got more range, you can now shoot the base. You can now shoot the base where you previously wouldn't be able to. So that means that there's now more possibilities for expansion and makes the game a little bit easier. Because previously you would have to swap the defenders. So Bosnia, Croatia. And then sometimes I like to get a hit or 2 off and then swap it. This one's kind of tricky, so you just gotta kind of play the game and learn. So we'll move on to that one. West Greenland. There's Crimea, right? So we got a guaranteed 2 income, 4 income, 6 income guaranteed right here. So we want to go for our guaranteed income. After this, I'd probably go Belgium, because not only do you have to think about the guaranteed income, but you want to see what more you could expand the next turn, right? So if I was to go Belgium this round, I could then expand into Netherlands the following turn. Pretty easy. So that would have been a 12 income start. Croatia, Bosnia, Belgium, and then Crimea. The following turn I would have been able to go in Netherlands. I probably would have gone Netherlands the next turn, and I also would have started West Greenland. Now this is an option too. It's just you want to go for spots that aren't going to take a lot of your time, or that are going to be easy. So you notice I do shift click all the way through. And had I gone West Greenland, I could have done this as well. So sometimes you're going to set up the next phase. So notice that I actually swapped the defender. I don't have to do that anymore. I was thinking... We're under attack. With the updates, you don't have to move the defender anymore. You could just use the big marine to expand. So those are some quick expansion spots. I'll tell you every spot that you could do. You could do West Greenland from the top base or the bottom base. If you got the bottom base of Disco base, you could expand right here. Just did what I do. If you have the right base or the left base here, you could expand on these two. You just have to build 2 riflemen. Algeria, one here, and then you would build 2 here. That way you attack the tower real fast and work your way up there. Just a couple of expansion spots. So turn 1, you want to maximize income. Once you maximize income, you want to start positioning yourself for the next turn. Right. Do you have any questions, Kenji? You see anything I'm missing so far?
What do you do later on? Like, do you focus on bigger countries or you just expand everywhere?
So those are some advanced tactics, right? You have to kind of eyeball it, and I'll show you what I mean by that. It only if it's a natural expansion spot, that's when you focus on big countries, right? The name of the game is to everything should be natural. And here's an example. You asked me about bigger countries, right? So notice with this country right here, it's a natural expansion.
We're under attack.
You see that? So it's a 4-person country, but I didn't force it, right? I didn't force it. It was just kind of natural. And this was like a turn 1 natural expansion, right? But so let's fast forward, and you talked about bigger countries, right? Let's say we're on turn 3 now. We're on turn 3 now. Here's what I would do for a bigger country. So you've already took all. Here we have a lot of easy spots, right? This would have been like the perfect game. You would have had a guaranteed 12 income.
More gold is required.
Right? You'd have had a guaranteed 12 income. Stop the guy here.
We're under attack.
And then I would have got Macedonia too, right? So let's say I got Macedonia, I killed 4 units, and then I got the bounty, right? So maybe if I wanted to do what you were saying, I do this, right? I get the 5th rifleman, I bring him up here, and I go for spots that are natural, right? Like it's gonna make sense for me to expand, right? And I want to expand with minimal effort. So in this case, this would have been a good spot to get, and it even has those marines that we were talking about, because I only have to build as many people as I need. Maybe one on top of that, right? The bases aren't gonna hit me.
We're under attack.
You see that? So you do go for big countries only when it makes sense, right? You wouldn't, like, for in this case, France doesn't make sense. Right? It doesn't make sense for you to go France here, right? Because you'd be working from your waves top down. You get hit by towers. You'd have to have more people. Germany is really good to expand. Germany is really good to expand. But the thing about the big countries is you don't know what you don't know, right? So you don't want to spend too much gold and then you realize, oh crap, he's got the final base, right? Because he just wasted 30, 40 seconds and then you didn't get the base. So you kind of have to kind of eyeball it and see what makes sense. You would never do what I just did, but I'm just showing you that had there been a base right there, or even we saw it in Spain, right? Had I started expanding real quick, there's this base in Spain, and I just lost I just lost my income, my expansion. You got any questions, Kenji? Here's another good one too. Ukraine, you probably could have done Ukraine too. That would have been a good expansion too, right? Because I could have got turn 2. I could have gone Moldova, build a guy here, maybe a couple guys here, and gone fast expansion. But you see, there's a guy in Moldova.
Let's say you don't have the spot in Jordan, like you don't have anything in Middle East. Would you still try to like go down there and expand there too, or only like to the north?
You want to expand as much as you can with the minimal amount of money, right? You want to get the most bang for your buck. So if you short answer, no. The long answer, the longer the game goes, you want to keep expanding, right? But you don't want to spend 10 gold, build a boat, head down there just to expand for the sake of expanding. And actually, this happens a lot of 1v1 where in the middle of the map, one of the strongest positions in the game is this position right here. The bottom left base, Bosnia, because from here you could expand Croatia, you could expand Montenegro, Serbia, Slovenia, Hungary, Slovakia, right base of Austria, Czech, all from the bottom left base, right? So that doesn't happen a lot. So you wouldn't do what you just said in that case, but however, sometimes you have to, right? Sometimes like you don't have any bases and you're forced to do so. I would say only do it if you're absolutely forced to and try to expand where you can, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if the enemy has somewhere, if the enemy has somewhere like let's say I didn't have this base here, base Serbia, or this base right here. And a lot of times what you have to do is you might have to do this, right? You might actually have to go to Tunisia. And you probably wouldn't do this turn 1, but you'll probably do this like turn 3, right? You're like, okay, he's somewhere in the east, right? And if this is turn 3, I'm probably gonna do this way faster because once you get to a certain point of the game, you're not expanding. You're not trying to be economical with your expansion. You're trying to expand as fast as you can to the aim. You're not working to get an income anymore. You're working to attack, right? So in this case, no, I guess I don't have money for a transport ship. But I would build a transport ship and then I would land in Greece and then expand there, or Albania, right? Depends on the situation. But everything you do, there's almost always a way to expand, right? For example, here's a good example in England. Let's say I don't have any other spot and I'm like, oh man, what am I gonna do? Okay, well I could build 2 guys in England and take England. Remember, in turn 1 I would have had 4 income, right? I would have had 4 gold. I'd build 2 guys here. But a lot of times it's better to move faster than it is to move slower because 1 minute is not a lot of time, right? So sometimes you don't have time to sit there and like think of every single possible spot you can get. You have to kind of eyeball it and just start expanding as fast as you can. For example, here, I'll go Bosnia. I'll spend a guy in Montenegro. And I haven't even looked at the entire map. I'm going for the spots that I know about. So I'm expanding.
We're under attack.
So I'm about to have 12 income, right?
Yep.
And you notice I didn't kind of sit around and wait and look at every single spot. Sometimes you don't have time is a luxury in this game. It takes 20 seconds to kill a unit from fresh to, from brand new to nothing, or 10 seconds if you have 2 units. So that's another thing to think about. Sometimes I want to expanding. I'm thinking, okay, what should I do? And remember we talked about natural expansions earlier. You want to also think about where your next spots are, right? So by getting Israel right here,
We're under attack.
I'm now able to get you don't always sometimes you want to build fast, right? Because if you already know what you're gonna get, you see this? I'm gonna go to Palestine. I didn't only, even though I just needed 1 unit to take it, I'm gonna build 4 because hey, I know I'm gonna go to Palestine afterwards, right? And then you hit it 1 or 2 times, and then you move on. You don't have to sit there. You don't have to sit there and kill the unit, right? Everything is about time. And
You spent like all your gold? Or
no,
like,
I only spend like 4 gold, right? So
yeah.
the leftover gold that I have, what I like to do is I like to spend like the first 2 turns of being real like efficient with my income. You see my KD, and then whenever I have like 12 to like 10-20 seconds left, then I could spam gold, right? I'll spam gold because it makes more. I'd rather get land and spend a little more gold than not get land and save 2 gold, right?
Yeah.
And everything you do is you focus on the next spot you're doing, right? And you just got to be smart about it, right? What I like to do too is, you see this right here? You take a peek, you don't build. You see that he's got a blue base, you just move on. You see that he's got a base in Netherlands, you move on, right? But you you keep it hotkeyed. So let's say you're checking, and then you see something happen, bam, you click on your hotkey, and now you're back on Moscow, right?
Right.
Moscow, Belgium. So we're back on
What if
Moscow.
you see like a base, but you want to take it, like in Belgium, for example? It's like a good spot, right?
Yeah.
Like,
So
what if you want to?
Yeah, what I like to do in that case, what I'll do is I'll do this, right? So let's say I want to take Belgium. I'll build 4 guys right here, 4 or 5, right? And then I'll do this. I'll attack up here. They're gonna get the notification that their units are under attack, and then I'll do this right away. So naturally, their eyes gonna go to Romania. They're like, okay, let me look at Romania. They look at Romania. By the time they realize that, oh crap, I just lost my Netherlands base, right?
Okay.
And
Yeah.
that's why it's good to have like the hotkeys, right?
We're under
So
attack.
if you know that you have a base and they may want to take it, you hotkey it, and then you. So instead of, let's say we did that again, right? I look at Romania, but then right away I'm also tabbing out and I see Belgium. I'm like, oh crap, he's attacking me.
Yeah.
I'm trying. I think those are pretty much the basics. Some of the advanced stuff we talked about, the expanding with the Marines, expanding in big countries, expanding small countries, what to do if a person's there. Um, and sometimes you're gonna expand and you're gonna realize. And some games are unwinnable, by the way. I mean, people say, some games you're supposed to lose, right? Not because you're bad or you're good. Some games are just they're spot wins, right? You know, everyone always talks about spot wins. So this game, for example, I would say it's probably if I had this base, this spot right here, I'd probably be. You could always do something, right? You could always do something, but
We're under attack.
see, I don't like these spots because they're all hardest. They're they're spots that take a while to get. I have to swap here,
We're under attack.
or if I wanted to build a guy in Latvia, I have to do this right here. I have to. You see how much time this is? I mean, obviously I'm not playing this, real mode right here, right? But you see how long this is taking?
We're under attack.
Some spots are just harder to get than others, right? Um, and it's just kind of a pain, right? You have to do this. Whenever you have to do, that's why it makes sense sometimes it makes more sense to go move fast than to try to be like, oh wait, instead of getting that, maybe I could get another spot, right? Because you're not ever gonna have time, right?
Right.
And that's the aim of the game is to move as fast as you can, as cheap as you can, and then punish the player. Every little mistake counts in this. So Kenji, what do you think? Look, you're looking at these spots. Where would you expand? And then I'll tell you my thoughts afterwards.
Sami, I think. Moscow,
Sammy, Moscow, right?
Georgia, and
Where?
Syria.
Where did you say?
Georgia.
Georgia. And then he's
Oh no. And Syria maybe.
okay. All right, that's what I would have done. So here's what I would have done first, actually.
Mhm.
When I would have gone Syria, instead of expanding, I would have gone like that. I would have put my little rifleman up here. You see that? I now have vision. Let's say Syria is blocked, right? What do you do next? Let's say you build a guy in Moscow, you build a guy in Sami, you take it, you come here and you go like this, and you notice Syria is blocked. What do you do then? You still have 2 gold left, remember? Because you watched this video and you were smart. You knew you were supposed to do this right here, and now you have 2 gold left you can still use.
Maybe Libya.
Libya's kind of hard, but I'll tell you what I would do. I would go for Libya, but I know you would not have enough. By the time you get over here, you're not gonna have enough time to take Libya, right? You would have to go here,
Okay.
go here. So what I would have done is I would have spent a guy in Lithuania. I would have only got 10 income, right? With the minute I realized I don't have Syria, I knew I was like, okay, I'm only gonna get a. It's kind of a tricky spot. There you go. So what I would have done is I would have got Sami, Moscow, Lithuania, and then what I would have actually done too is I wouldn't have tried to get Libya this turn. I would just kind of start it off. You see this right here? Start it off.
We're under attack.
And then the next turn, now I know I can't take it the first turn, right? But now the next turn, I have time to kind of like, take my time taking Libya. I have a whole minute. The other thing you probably could have done too, which honestly, that's probably what I would have done. I would have gone Lithuania, Moscow, Georgia. You also could have started off. You also could have started this off right here. And you're not going to get any income this turn, but it's going to pay off down the line, right? So now let's say it's turn 2. And some of this takes a lot of time to do, right? But if you start it off early, You kind of, it's like you're saving yourself for the next turn. So I was looking at this right here. For some reason, it wasn't attacking. And you notice, sometimes stuff like that happens, right? You got to keep checking your units. I was looking over here and I noticed they didn't attack even though I had them set up. So you could have spent 2 gold in Greece, 1 guy in Macedonia, and then gone like this and kind of worked your way up, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think if this was a real game, I would have had enough time to get Greece, Macedonia, and Libya turn 2 by starting off Libya here, or by starting off Macedonia here, right?
Yeah.
We'd have also, so that would have gave us around what, 4, 6. We'd have had 19 income turn 2. So it's always having a secondary and third option too, right? Because you're gonna get blocked sometimes, but you're gonna have to think real quick. What am I gonna do next? What am I gonna do next, right? Think about the next expansion spot you can get. All right, what do you think about this one right here? What are you gonna do?
East Greenland.
Yep, East Greenland. There you go. Build a guy there. Oh,
This thing next to Georgia. I
next
don't
to
know the name.
Georgia. Yeah, Azerbaijan. Yep.
Azerbaijan. Yeah. And Moscow maybe.
Moscow.
That's a slow one.
Yeah, it's a slow one. So whenever you see something like this, sometimes it makes more sense to start the slow one first.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably would have done Sammy too. So we would have had 12 income. We would have gone East Greenland. This is the fastest one, right? So I would say start off Moscow first, East Greenland, Sammy, and then move on to Azerbaijan. And after you do all that, like if you do all 4 of those, you're gonna end up with 1 income at the end, right? So let's say I kill East Greenland. Let's say I kill Moscow. Let's say I kill Azerbaijan, right? I get all 4 of those guys. I have 1 gold left. What do? I move down here. I move my little rifleman like I showed you. And you start scouting Syria. And with the 5th gold you got, you would have built a guy in Syria here. And one over here. And that would have been real easy to do. Alright. Where do you want to go? What do you want to try now this time? Now you could come up the spots and I'll tell you what I would have done, or if you're doing something wrong.
Sure. Moscow.
Moscow, yep. Okay.
Or Malta maybe. And
Malta,
Sardinia.
yep. The only thing I would say though. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and this thing next to Switzerland.
Okay, Austria.
Austria.
Yeah. So I would have gone Austria. I would have gone Moscow. I would have actually gone Moldova because Sardinia. I would have done Sardinia last, right? Because what's gonna happen is you could take Switzerland pretty easy, right? It's not gonna take any time. You could take Moldova pretty easy. You just go like this, right? So you're taking this pretty easy. Moscow's pretty easy, right? Bam, bam. I come back here and I hit swap defender, right? I let this hit like 2-3 times, and then I come up here to Moldova and I swap it again. And then you get Malta, right?
We're under attack.
You know what? You know where I messed up? I think I could have scouted this. So let's check this out. Oh no, we couldn't have scouted. So we wouldn't have known. But the thing about Sardinia is not only can you not tell, right?
Yeah.
Had we done what you wanted to do, let me clarify. Had we done what you wanted to do, you would have got Austria, right? You would have got Moscow. That's 8 income, right? You would have come down to Malta, and you would have realized, oh crap, I can't get it, right?
Yeah.
So you'd have only got 8 income guaranteed. And the other thing about Sardinia I don't like is Sardinia is for me it's kind of a pain in the ass because you have to come up here, you have to like do this crap, and for some back in the day it was way harder to do Sardinia, right? Now it's kind of easy. I think they tweaked it. Before it used to be a little bit hard. It used to be a pain. So you would have got 10 income. I would have got 10 income too actually, because we both would have been blocked in Malta, right? Yeah. So That's one thing you can do. Next turn, I would have probably gone. Uh, Next turn, what I honestly would have done is I would have gone Montenegro, right? Because what's gonna happen is that you don't want to spend your too much time in Macedonia because it's gonna
Mhm.
take you 4 guys to build down and go up, right? Or
Yeah.
so maybe what you do is you build 4 gold here, 4 gold here, and from if you take Montenegro, you could take Bosnia and Serbia pretty easy. If you take Macedonia, you still have to go back up there and take Montenegro. The other thing
Right.
you could do here is you'd have had Austria, you could take Czech real easy, and then maybe turn 3. This is a turn 3 now, right? And you come up here,
We're under
you go up
attack.
here. You would have had more. I mean, obviously I don't have enough gold, right? But turn 3 I would have had more gold. Take the bottom of Germany. Take the 2 expansions, right? Kind of like how we talked earlier about getting the big countries. And even though he would have had Germany, even though if it's blocked, if you have already like 5 or 6 spawns in Germany, right? Like you have spawns in Austria, you have spawns in Czech, you have maybe Switzerland, and you're trying to take Germany. Even if you see a base and it's turn 3, don't be afraid to pump a couple of rifle guys out, and then he might try to block you, right? But if you have way more spawns than he doesn't want to waste all his gold in Germany, because you're just gonna kill these units, right? You have
Yeah.
spawns, you want to like just push anyways.
So like, in which turn would you like take Macedonia? Because
That's,
like the enemy could push from there, right?
yeah,
Then
I don't know. Maybe I would have took Macedonia. I would have probably spent. And this thing, here's what I would have done. I would have spent 8 income. I would have got the 10 income start, right? The next
Mhm.
turn I would have got Sardinia, right? Because I told you I didn't get Sardinia in turn 1. I went Austria, Moscow, Malta, and then I went Moldova, right? So that's my turn
Mhm.
1. Turn 2, I would have built 1 guy in Sardinia, and then I would have spent 9 gold in Macedonia. And the reason I would do that is, or actually no, I probably would have spent 1 gold in Sardinia, 2 gold in Czech Republic, and then spend the other 7 gold in Macedonia. Push Macedonia, push Montenegro, and then try to get Serbia too. That makes sense?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get expansion everywhere. If I would have done that, that would have gave me, see, 12 income with Sardinia, 14 income with Czech Republic, and then 20 income with Macedonia, Montenegro, and Serbia, which I think would have been doable. Oh, you know what? Let me pause it this time. I got an idea. Oh, here we go. Now we got to kind of like think it. Now we have time to think it out, right? And then we'll do the live. We'll do what we should be doing.
Mhm. Mm. I think I would go this national park thing, Macedonia and Sami.
National Park, Sammy, Macedonia.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let me see what I would have done. Um, yeah, I would have done the same thing. Um, Here's the other thing. I'll show you. I'll show you what I'm gonna do. What you just said. Well, okay. How about this?
Mhm.
Where are you gonna go turn 2 now?
I think Finland looks really nice.
All right.
Uh,
Yeah, Finland's looking good.
Libya and Jordan.
Yeah. Okay. You think you have enough time to take Finland, Libya, and Jordan?
No.
Okay.
uh, maybe focus on Finland and Libya.
Oh, okay. I would say focus on Libya. I would say focus on Finland and Jordan because Finland and Jordan are going to be easier to take. Remember when we talked about
Right.
natural expansion, how fast you can expand? You got the bottom base in Finland. You got the top
Right.
base of Finland. You could take that. I would build 3 guys here and then probably 1 guy here.
Mhm.
Well, actually, let's try it out. So,
More gold is required.
You see that? What I did in National Park?
Yep.
We're under attack.
God, man, this should not have taken this long. See that? Probably not gonna get this. I'm gonna get it in time, I think, but I'm not gonna have time to set up my next what I really wanted to do.
More gold. More gold is required.
I'm gonna start off with building one guy, because I want to make sure I'm not gonna get blocked, right?
We're under attack. We're under attack.
Crap.
We're under attack.
Now what I'll do now is I could get this one guy and start him for the following turn. And that's the reason I don't like to do Libya, because it kind of takes a little bit. So we got 21 income. So I think we did better than we imagined, because we ended up. You notice I had like, remember I told you I had some gold left over?
Yeah.
I spent time kind of getting the macro down with the micro down in Jordan. I spent time doing some stuff in Finland. But afterwards, I have some more free time. Okay, I got some more free time. I didn't spend all my gold. What should I do next? Oh, I only have to spend 2 guys, and if I spend 3 gold in Macedonia, I could bum rush Albania, right? So
Yeah.
that gave me a 21 income. I would say anything over 20 is pretty good. So I would say that was a good second start. Had I not wasted so much time, what I probably could have done too is move the one of the. I could have tried to start taking Bulgaria too. In fact, I should have done Bulgaria too. And had I hit like, remember, because I wasted so much time on with Sammy, it wasn't hitting. I would have had 1 gold extra to spare, and I could have probably started something more earlier. Probably even could have started Libya, since that's the hardest position, and that kind of takes a long time to do versus Jordan and Finland. We possibly, if I'm being honest, we possibly could have had 26 income on turn 2.
That would be sick. Yeah.
Yeah, so.
That's some good advice, man. Good job.
Alright. You got anything else or
Um,
no? Any other questions you think we're missing in this video?
No, man. I think we're good.
Alright, this concludes the video. This is part 1. Leave your questions down and we will go from there. Thank you. Thank you, Kenji.